Turbo conquering Mega Eagle! Okay, looky what we've got here, folks. A 2-ton Benford. Yeah? Not Bedford. Benford. Benford. In all her glory. Look at this. So this is a 4-wheel drive, articulating dump truck. What I got very cheap, yeah? A Peta, 2-cylinder diesel in here. And he says what happened was he left the air filter without the mushroom on top. It does have a little drain down at the bottom somewhere. Yeah, here. That's quite a big drain. Either way, that should have worked. Maybe it was on an incline or something. Anyway, he says the water ran down the hose and into the cylinders. As we can see there, there's 2 seized cylinders. Yeah, he'd stripped it down and lost half the parts. So this is where it stands. We've got one screwed up tyre and a centre joint that isn't looking entirely good, but we'll worry about that once we get it running. Yeah, so today I'd just like to try and get this engine running. I went and picked up a little bundle that someone put together for me, someone else who breaks dump trucks. I've got hopefully everything that's missing. Got a couple of cylinders here. These one of them's damaged. This one has a broken ring on it. I don't know why the ring broke yet. We need to investigate that. I've still not got all 4 push rods. That's a tiny bit of a problem. And we've got the rocker boxes here which are missing from that, and what else? Yeah, obviously these cylinders are in a much better shape than what's on the dumper at the minute, but you know. So first things first, we need to assess what we've got, figure out if I need to order any parts. I'll probably need some gaskets, but more importantly I need to know about rings. So and a worst case scenario, if I need to get another piston. Okay then, folks. So I'm enjoying working on these little old diesel engines. Yeah, very much enjoying it. It's a Peta PH2. Yeah, I don't know if PH actually stands for anything, but yeah, that's what it is. Just pulling the bad bits off this engine so we can have a look, see if there's anything actually usable here. Here she goes. Managed to get most of the bits fairly easily. The biggest problem I had was identifying threads and things. I convinced myself that it had a bicycle thread on one of the unions, yeah, which I had to buy. So I ended up with, you know, bolts and all sorts, and then realised that it was just a British pipe thread, which I should have assumed it was in the first place, I suppose. Anyway, that was cylinders going into catering grade decarburiser, trying to free them off a bit. Then they had a big soak in oil, and now we're knocking the pistons out of the cylinders, and here they go. Yeah, I was hoping I could save the rings or save the piston or save the cylinder, but hey, we'll see. Yeah, I ended up, you know, obviously getting a spare set of cylinders and pistons. Alright. And out of a lot of them, cool. They had one good piston, and what maybe a usable cylinder, which would have been hit and miss. Anyway, I found another ultrasonic bath, folks. Look at this, I've got 2 of them now, right? This one doesn't really work too well, but you know, I don't know. I'm kind of regretting not having bought a bigger tub, to be honest, because I do use them a fair bit. Right, so cylinders, you know, what I've always done in aircraft is just strip them down. If they're not obviously knackered, then put the bottle brush through them. Gives you a much better starting point, everything nice and clean. And it's amazing how much pitting it does get rid of. Just makes it vanish. A bit of lube helps though, as always. When doesn't it, eh? When doesn't it? Very quick as well, the bottle brush. Couple of minutes each cylinder. Look at that face says it all, I think. Yeah. But, so this is one of the pistons.
The rings weren't damaged on here, but eventually it'll end up.
Yeah, I mean, this one actually had good rings on it. The only one with good rings. This one didn't have good anything. What the previous one would have looked like eventually. And here are the cylinders, yeah. Those are the two that I bought separately. The two original. These are basically all US because of the pitting. These are the ones that are actually on the engine when I got it. So very heavily pitted. It was a shame because there's very little wear on them. A real shame there, And yeah, I could get them rebored, but the prices at the moment for work like that are kind of prohibitive. This is one of the new cylinders that I picked up, or with the spares that I bought. So big old dent in the side of the cylinder there, and the scoring. And then this one was just worn well beyond limits, that last one. Yeah. I could have got go up to a 25 thou overbore on these, which would have cleaned up all the pitting and made them usable, but with postage or petrol, it's not worth it, is it? So I ordered some new ones anyway, and look, and then started working on these cylinder heads. They're pretty badly corroded, bit of wear on them, and I'd also just been given these very large grinding stones. I think they're probably for head resurfacing anyway, so that's what I used them for, just minus the machine. Yeah, that one's a bit worse as far as the corrosion's concerned, because these have been, I don't know where he had these sat, but they'd just been in a puddle somewhere, I think. No, they weren't that bad. This stone ended up working quite nicely, to be honest. Got things nice and flat, cleaned everything off. Just looks like a bit of a dodgy way of doing it, but yeah, I don't think there's any problem doing it like this with a modular cylinder head like this. Perhaps if we were doing a 6-cylinder engine with a 4-foot long cylinder head, it might be a problem, but this was fine. Just took a bit of work. Yeah. There we go. Cleaning up nice, isn't it? That's what they look like anyway. After all that, I couldn't get it all the way down. It would have taken ages, but I think a bit of head gasket shellac and the copper gasket, that'll be fine. Here's the second one, that cleaned up a bit nicer. Still a bit of a shadow there from the cylinder wall. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with them. Next up was the valves. I'd already cut one of them. Just cutting the seats. You see how badly worn they are. These are, you know, might look a bit weird to the people because there's no valve seat insert there, is there? It looks a bit weird to me, to be honest. I've never really worked on engines that don't have valve seat inserts, but yeah, this is how they are. Yeah, they're quite badly worn. So I'm cutting these, and I ended up buying new cylinders or new power assembly. So that's the piston and cylinder, and new valves. What other engine parts did I get? The top end gasket kit. Nice cutter this. It's pretty cheap, but seemed to do a good job. I do have access to better valve seat cutters, but they're all for hardened steel, you know, and they're way too big for these anyway. So yeah, I bought those little tool carbon steel cutters. Anyway, that's a new valve sat in there. 22 quid for the set of 4, I think I paid for the valves. So against the old valves, you can see that we're pretty much down to a knife edge with the old ones, aren't we? That'd be really annoying, wouldn't it? Putting a new piston and cylinder on and having a valve drop its head into the pot or something like that, eh? Ruin everything. So I don't mind the new valves. That's something I didn't mind doing. We're all brand new up the top here, aren't we then? It's all done. I tried something a bit of a deviation from the maintenance manual here. You know, we have to do the what do you call it? The squish. The squish test. I can't remember what it's called. Basically, you need to put a bit of solder or a bit of lead on top of the piston and turn the engine over and then measure it. Yeah, see how much it squashes. Rather than do that and have to take it apart and put it all back together several times, I figured it would be easier to measure it, and you know, I couldn't see any reason why I couldn't assemble the piston and cylinder like this as well, with the convert on the engine, with the piston in there. You know, the book says to do it all in one go, but you know, this has got to be easier, isn't it? Yeah. The reason I wanted to do it like this is my alternative to the squash test. I just subtracted the thickness of the head gasket from the tolerance, and then aimed for that. I had to I can't remember how much packing I had to put at the bottom of the cylinder, but yeah, got it close enough, I think, and then I had to make a special tool to torque the barrels down. Yeah, I nearly slipped and impaled myself on the new cylinders anyway. Yeah, and the reason I wanted to do it like this is because you've got to do an alignment of the heads to avoid cracking the manifolds. Yeah. So here we go, a bit of head shellac on head gaskets. Just copper. These are Indian made as well, these gasket sets. Quite badly burred on the edges. I think the Indian stuff, which is all you're going to get now if you want brand new Lister Petter stuff, is all going to be Indian made. It's not amazing quality. The machining all seems to be fine with the primary machining, but the secondary machining, like the the areas where the nuts sit, for instance, are rough as arseholes. Yeah, not the nicest to look at. The casting isn't that fine, but whatever, you know, keeps these old engines running, I suppose, so you can't complain. Yeah, it's just aligning the heads, checking with a bit of flat bar there. Yeah, now time to put the rocket gear back on. I found a bit more damage on here. I think that's looks like a bit of oil starvation on that toe. So we're just dressing it out, and then just guessing the profile, isn't it? You know, it's not a Formula One engine, is it? Eh? I think we're better off dressing it out and just having a guess as to how it's meant to look, isn't it? I suppose. Yeah. There we go, like new. Like new. Like it grew there.
There we go. Perfect.
Yeah, we hope. Yeah. So we're just doing the valve clearances. Pretty standard. Not the best access, but not the worst. There, we've got to set the... What one's this? Oh yeah. The decompression lever lift or drop. It's lift, I suppose, isn't it? But yeah, that's apparently quite important to set that, or you can end up damaging things. Here we go. I bought myself a pop tester finally. I wasn't going to off this, but it's better if you've got a multi-cylinder engine. You know, you really ought to do this.
Or better pattern anyway.
So you end up with the sort of damage we saw on those pistons if you've got one injector running a bit lean or something. Here we go. I'm just cleaning the crankcase out because it had been open for a while and I never cleaned the sludge out because it's been outside this whole time whilst I've been working on it. So here's the sludge coming out. Disgusting. That's not the worst of it, by the way. It was pretty nasty in there. Yeah, the thing was I was going to wash it down with a paraffin gun and I didn't want to do that and then leave it for a month, so I only cleaned it right before I was ready to put oil back in it. And this is the final step in getting the lubrication system working. Has a little shuttle valve or a flow, what do you call it? Limits the flow to the cylinder head, so that's why I wasn't getting oil right to the cylinder head, just turning it over by hand, so it's got a pressure relief valve first and then the oil goes around the engine apart from the stuff to the head which goes through that. And here we go, finally got oil at the head. It all still needs setting up properly though once it's running and with a gauge. Here we go, first starting attempt. Didn't start first time. A big old heavy engine, this one. Yeah. Oh, can't be going faster than that. Oh, you fat bastard.
She's a runner. Okay, I did have to dump a little bit of squirt on it just because I was running out of puff. Oh, it's a big old heavy engine, that, you know. Yeah. Nice. Right, I think I've got to call it a day with that for this video, and go and have a heart attack or something somewhere, quietly. Yeah, but I'll be back. We'll wrap the engine up and get a new tyre on it, fill it up with hydraulic fluid, sort the brakes out, figure out why there's a lump of wood holding the skip in place, and you know, the countless other jobs. We'll get it drivable next time. I think we've done the bulk of it now, though, haven't we? Eh? We've got a running engine from what was a seized lump of crust, didn't we? Eh? Awesome. All right, take it easy, folks. I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.